Okay, I'm sorry. I had to make a part 2 because the first video, it cut out. But you have to be very careful about the people you accept help from, because a lot of times these people are perps. Not all of them, but they're perps, and they're trying to traffic you. Okay, so they'll set you up with these individuals. They try to take advantage of your situation, you being homeless, you not having much, and they'll try to use that as a prop to be able to take advantage of you sexually, energetically. You have these people that are not human, and they will intentionally cause additional stress in your life so that they can feed off of your soul energy. And that's exactly what I experienced with this woman. She was feeding off of my miseries. Every time I would come back to the house and talk about what the gang stalkers did, there was always this duper's delight. She always had to get in my personal space, and it was just noticeable that she was trying to feed off of my misery. Okay, so just be very vigilant. Sometimes you have to give people the benefit of the doubt until you start seeing things. Okay, but the Bible says, be sober and vigilant, for your adversary the devil roams about like a lion, seeking whom he may devour. So just be aware. What else was there? She also made a comment that was extremely disturbing to me. She said, what did she say to me? She asked me, how long have I been a TI? And I told her, well, I found out about gang stalking in 2014, and that's when they really was overt. But I really felt like I was being gang stalked pretty much all my life. In hindsight and looking back, do you know that what this old lady said to me? She said, let me recall it so I can say word for word what she said to me. She said, you've been a TI that long and you still won't just kill yourself? That's exactly word for word what this lady said to me. So it's as if she was implying that I should have killed myself by now, or I should kill myself. Okay? Excuse me, one moment. So just based off of the actions, like the Bible says that you have to test the spirits of people, and you have to go off of what you see in terms of their actions and the words that they're saying to you, the things that they are saying around you. It was revealed to me more and more that this woman did not have a spirit of God, that this woman was in fact sent into my life to further cause me chaos and turmoil, and it appears as if she did not want me to prevail, or she didn't want me to prosper. Okay. What else was there? Just one second. I'm trying to recall some other things. I've already said she would noticeably get irritated whenever I would talk about my girlfriend or whatever. And what else? Oh, something else that I saw that was another red flag. Okay, so with the security company that I'm working for, they would have me work her off nights. Okay, so at each site that the security company does security for, each site or post has its own cell phone. Okay, so the purpose of the cell phone is that's where we do our reports. We have something called daily activity reports, and we type in the reports. We take pictures of certain checkpoints so that we can verify that we've actually hit up those checkpoints and things of that nature. There's also a video option. You can take videos of things and stuff like that. So I noticed, like, when I looked in this phone, this woman, this old lady, she had video of gang stalking in the phone. But get this, she only started recording the night that I was on my way to Dallas. And I thought that was very odd. So there was no videos before that point. There was just pictures, regular pictures of checkpoints for the security job. Okay. Before that, there was no video footage of gang stalking, nothing. So I thought that was very odd that only the first night that I drove into Dallas was when she started taking videos of her supposed gang stalking. That was very odd. Again, I'm going to leave the link to her channel in the description so you can check out her videos. She has a few videos on there. Actually, she only has maybe 1 or 2 videos of not really clear evidence of any gang stalking at all. You know what I mean? It's just like a truck that's just sitting out on the street, and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like there's no what is the context of the video? She's not giving more description. There's not enough footage to really connect the dots. when you show videos of your gang stalking, you want to be able to portray it in such a manner that somebody who doesn't know about gang stalking, if they watch this, they can identify that something is not right with that picture. So those are the type of videos that you're supposed to be putting up. So her videos are very just vague and just not really showing detail of anything, okay? So again, I thought that was very odd. I never saw any proof of gang stalking. Yeah, in some of the videos that I saw in the site phone, you know, any TI could look at that and be like, okay, yeah, that definitely might be a gang stalker. But I just thought it was odd that she had no videos prior to that night that I showed up at her post, the first night that I was in Dallas. So that was very odd. Excuse me. I don't know what it is about this air chemtrails. I am constantly spitting. Something is up. I don't know. Like, ever since I've been going through this, that's just been something that happened. So excuse me and I apologize. I know it's disgusting. But what else was there? Just one second. As far as her cooking, she was always adamant, especially adamant about me eating her spaghetti. And I'm like, I don't want to eat your spaghetti. You know, there's this stigma attached with men and them eating, you know, their girlfriend's spaghetti or friend's spaghetti, because oftentimes, I guess that's the dish of choice that these people choose to do their witchcraft. They'll put their period blood in it and shit like that. And she was just very curious as to why I didn't want to eat her spaghetti. And I told her, I was like, I've had a bad experience with that. And she was wanting to know what the experience was, and I kept telling her I didn't want to talk about it. But she was like, what? You know, did the girl put period blood in your spaghetti and stuff like that? I'm like, ew. Like, I kept saying, like, ma'am, I don't want to talk about it. And she was like, well, I don't have periods, so you ain't got to worry about that. I'm like, oh, my God. So she would often have these inappropriate conversations with me that were just so uncomfortable, and just, it was just crazy. But let me see what else there was. She would often tell the neighbors my business, okay? The neighbors were well aware of gang stalking. As a matter of fact, they were gang stalkers. They were all in on it together. You know, she tried to play it off like, oh, you know, they look out for you and stuff like that. They were perps. They even set up a staged car accident right outside the apartment one morning. I was asleep, and I heard like the noise of a car getting hit, and I get up, and it was a total setup. They had rear view mirrors on the ground that didn't match up to the vehicle that supposedly got hit, and all kinds of stuff. And then when questions were asked, nobody could give any explanation as to where the other vehicle went. You know, you just saw one individual that was out there in a car that had been clearly sideswiped, but the rear view mirror didn't match up. Like, there was a rear view mirror on the ground. They said it was a big truck that hit the car, but whose rear view mirror was that? You know, the vehicle that got hit, both of its rear view mirrors were intact, but the rear view mirror, the side view mirror rather, that was on the ground did not match up to a big truck. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was just stupid stuff that they were doing, and they were all in on it at the end of the day. The downstairs neighbor was a crackhead. Excuse me. The downstairs neighbor was a crackhead. She would often give this lady money to go buy her crack. And then she was also a major perp. She would oftentimes, whenever I would look out the window, she'd make it a point to walk outside, and she'd have on these, you know how perps like to wear shirts that have these little comments or sayings or quotes or stuff like that? So she would oftentimes walk out just so I could read something on the back of her shirt and all this kind of nonsense. And it was just so apparent. Her husband would wear the army fatigues and all that kind of stuff. Like, I always liken that to the devil's children being at war with God's children. So whenever you see these idiots walking around with these army fatigues on and they're out gang stalking, when people say it's a spiritual war, it's true, because these are Satan's children that are out here that have waged war against God's children. So whenever I see that, I'm always reminded of that. So that's why I kind of freaked out a little bit when I saw the army fatigue dress that she had in her closet. All right, so what else was there? Yeah, she was very loud, telling the neighbors my business, like when I was off from work and stuff like that. There was one time, this was right before she actually kicked me out, so I'm going to get to that story in just a second. I walked past her bedroom, and she was asleep, okay? And in her sleep, she says, "Get your snitch ass out my apartment." Or she said, "Get your snitch ass up out of my house." That's exactly what she said. Now, I was on my way to the bathroom when I heard her say this, and I had to double back and look like, damn, was this lady talking to me? So I looked back, and she always slept with her bedroom door open. So I looked back, and I could see that she was still asleep. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she started talking in her sleep, and that was just extremely weird. And what else? I've already talked about her not liking sunlight in the apartment. What else? Yeah, she was just obnoxiously loud. She tried to portray me as being her man and things of that nature. She wanted me to go places with her so she could parade me around as being her man. I oftentimes noticed, like, it was like, because I wear sunglasses and baseball caps a lot, mainly to conceal my identity in case something happens and I need to switch up. I will wear a baseball cap and sunglasses a lot. So oftentimes she would try to like mock me. I would often see her try to wear sunglasses and stuff like that. So I would take my sunglasses off whenever she would do that, because that's another thing that these perps like to do. They like to mock us. Excuse me. They like to mock us. They'll oftentimes wear some of the clothing that we like to wear. I oftentimes will carry my backpack with me. I've often heard other TIs make videos talking about these stalkers have backpacks and they wear hats and sunglasses. That is not true. Not all people that wear sunglasses and hats and have backpacks on them all the time are not always perps. I do that because I keep certain items in my backpack that I do not want them getting to. I don't want them sabotaging. So yes, I will have a backpack with me when I go into the stores, because I don't like to leave my stuff in the car, you know. And again, I wear the hat and sunglasses to conceal my identity, just in case I need to switch up. Either way, they know who you are. But again, just for, you know, for the physical effect of it, I do that. And I've also heard that when you wear sunglasses, it distorts the remote neural monitoring. It's often been said that these people have the ability to see what you see through this neural networking thing that they do with your brain or what have you. So I oftentimes wear those glasses to distort what they're able to see through my eyes. So that's the reason why I wear those things. Okay, so don't think because you see a person with a hat and sunglasses and backpack that automatically they're a perp, because that's not true. Okay, so again, they like to mock us, they like to make fun of us and things of that nature. So yeah, so finally this lady kicks me out of her apartment, right? Now, the whole premise of her wanting me to come to Dallas was because she didn't want me out in the cold. Out of the kindness of her heart, she knew that the weather, you know, was about to change, and she has this extra bedroom, and she couldn't stand to see me out in the cold. So when she notices that I'm not responding to her advances towards me, when she notices that I'm not doing whatever it is that her handlers want me to do, it was time for me to go. So I was at work one night working post, and she calls me and she tells me that she doesn't think that us being roommates is going to work out. So I asked her why. You know, was it something I did? Have I offended you? She was like, I don't want to talk about it. And I kept asking her, like, you know, can you please tell me? Like, you know, let me make amends, or let me try to, you know what I mean? Even though I knew that this lady was a perp, even though I knew I saw this demonic manifestation of what she was, or what she is rather, I still tried to stick it out because I needed the help, I needed the resources, and as long as I still am awake, and as long as I stay vigilant and watch myself and watch my surroundings, there was nothing that she could do to harm me. So that's the only reason why I still continued to stay, and I was going to try to stay as long as I could, as long as I could tolerate, rather. Okay, so I told her fine, you know, if she doesn't want to tell me, that's fine. This was like a Wednesday or Thursday night when she told me that we weren't good, that it wasn't working out, and she told me that I had to leave on the weekend because she was going to be off, and she said that I needed to leave while she's there. So I said, okay, fine. So I get off of work and I see her when I get back to the apartment, and I made it a point to ask her personally, face to face, so that I could make sure that it was her. Because sometimes it's been said that, and I've experienced this too, the gang stalkers will try to portray themselves as being somebody that you know, or family member or something like that, and that they can clone a person's voice and try to act like they are that person. So I made it a point once I got back, to ask her again, you know, was that actually you that said, you know, you did tell me that you wanted me to leave this weekend, right? That was you, that wasn't someone else. And she looked at me crazy. She was like, what do you mean? She's like, of course that was me. Like, I want your ass out. I was like, okay. Well, I was just making sure. Now, mind you, I was extremely respectful to this woman, okay? I was extremely respectful to this old lady. Overly respectful. I offered to clean her home. She told me that she didn't want me cleaning her house because she had a specific day that was designated to cleaning. So I was like, okay, I can respect that. But the least I could do is make sure my room was clean. I always made my bed up. Every time I got out of bed, I made my bed up. My room was clean. Hell, y'all can go back to the video that I posted showing appreciation for everything that she was doing for me. You know, I was thinking that God was working through this woman to help me. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, none of that even mattered. You know, it was like she tried to make it look as if I wasn't happy there and stuff like that. I was like, that's not true. You know, but it was just her being a narcissist and just trying to make things up to put me in a bad light. So what ended up happening was, one second. So what ended up happening was, I asked her, because the company I'm working for, they gave me some overtime, and that particular day I was going to get off at 6 p.m., which was a Sunday. Now, when she wanted me to leave, I believe she wanted me to leave on Saturday, because she's off Saturday and Sunday. So I asked her, I said, is there any way that you could give me until Sunday? Okay, and I did that for a reason. I said, is there any way you can give me till Sunday, because I get off at 6 p.m. on Sunday, and I just rather leave when it's dark out or whatever. I just made that up or whatever. So she was like, okay, that's fine. Now, what I did instead was I left on Saturday. I had to work Saturday. So Saturday early, like in the morning, I started packing up my stuff while she was still at work. I packed up majority of my things and got it in my Jeep. Okay. So I had very little things left in the house. The main things I had left in there was just food stuff. Okay. So that was going to be easy to just grab and leave. So when she got back, I guess she noticed that I had packed up majority of my things, and she got upset. She was like, you need to get the F out of my house right now. You get the F out right now. Like, she just got enraged. And it was like, why was she so upset? Like, I had cleaned up the kitchen. The bathroom was cleaned. I made sure the room was nice and neat. The bed was made up. You understand what I'm saying? I was going to walk out of there very peacefully and gracefully, and even tell her God bless her. You understand what I'm saying? I already had that in my mind, that this is what I was going to do. I wasn't going to show any sign of anger or hostility. I've never been like that whenever I've stayed with someone and it was time for me to leave. I've always left with my head up, and very gracefully and peacefully and kindly. You know, even given a kind word, you know, I really appreciate everything that you did for me. You know, even in my mind, I already know that they're a perp. You know, I still left with kindness in my heart or whatever. So when she got like that, I was like, okay, well, I really need to hurry up and get my things. So at that point, I had on my undershirt. I already had on my work pants and my shoes. All I had to do was put on my work shirt and then grab the rest of my food items and walk out. Now, in the middle of me doing that, this lady got on the phone and she started talking to some dude. And she tells the dude, she's like, where you at? She was like, hurry up and get over here, whatever. So when she did that, I'm like, here we go with this BS. Here we go with this setup stuff. I immediately went to go grab my firearm, and I put it in the back of my pants, just in case. Okay. But these people are known to try to set you up, to beat you up, to cause you harm. I've made videos about this in the past. You guys have seen that. So I had my firearm on me, and I quickly got the rest of my things. And in my mind, it dawned on me that the reason why she wanted me to leave on the designated day that she wanted was because she was going to try to set me up. She was already in the kitchen. It was like she was cooking all this food as if she was expecting company or whatever. And, you know, I just knew, like, my spidey sense went off. I was like, I really do need to hurry up and get the hell up out of here. So I'm already having anxiety about walking to the door, because these perps are known for like syncing up with you and stuff like that. So I'm thinking that whoever it is that she called, as soon as I get ready to walk out the door, they're going to be right there at the door. So I then grab my firearm and I use something to cover my arm so that I could have my firearm pointed outward in case I needed to direct it at whoever, just in case. So thankfully no one was there, and I left, and I got in my vehicle, and I drove off or whatever. And as I'm leaving out, she shuts the door. She's like, "Don't you ever come back here," and yada yada yada. And she shuts the door on me. And 1 second. Yeah, I was basically lured out to Dallas purposefully. It's been said that when a TI goes to a new area, whether you go to a new city or even a new state, that whatever area you go to, they get additional funding so that they can enact their psychological operations on you, so that they can that they can play out their gang stalking against you. So they get additional funding to do this. So I figured that maybe that was something that Dallas wanted. I don't know if I'm the only TI here. That's possible. Maybe there are other TIs, who knows? But they definitely lured me away from Houston to come out here. There was another individual that I used to work with years ago, I was in the insurance business back then, and it was insurance sales. And this guy also reached out to me. He owned the call center, and his friend also owned the call center, and it was his friend that I worked for. Okay, so he always knew of me because I was always the top employee the time that I was working there. So he always heard good things about me, knew that I was a guy of good character, had good morale, good morals, things of that nature. So he had been watching my videos for a while, according to what he was telling me. And he always said to himself he knew me, but he just couldn't remember. He just didn't realize, rather, that it was me, that it was Anthony. Okay. So when he finally realizes it was me, according to him, he then starts reaching out to me. He starts commenting, saying, "I don't know if you remember me. I've commented on your videos in the past. I just realized I know who you are." And he says that he's also a TI. The main thing that he's dealing with, supposedly, is he's one of the TIs that gets the shocks. That he didn't say anything about V2K, but he gets electrocuted. So he says he's experienced the gang stalking, but that's not, he doesn't really experience that anymore. His problem now is that they shock him. Okay, so he's one of those people. So once I got kicked out of the old lady's house, I remember this guy always told me that if I ever needed anything, that I should call him. Now, during the time that I was staying with this old lady, I was also hanging out with him. I would often at times go out to his house in Plano. And he would go with me as I would run errands, or I would just sit at his house and we'd talk. He would oftentimes talk about the Bible and talk about Jesus. And, the guy even gave me a Bible. He gave me this Bible. Okay? He gave me a Bible. So I'm thinking, okay, this guy's legit or whatever. And I noticed, like, coincidentally, when this lady kicked me out, and then I tried to reach out to this guy, he's not answering his phone, and he's not returning my calls. He's not responding to my text. And I'm like, man, what is going on here? Like, that's highly coincidental that this lady kicks me out. The weather's changing. It's getting cold. And now this guy that's telling me that has told me to reach out to him has now abandoned me as well. Now, I remember him saying that he had a lot of doctor's appointments. He was constantly going to doctors. He was taking a lot of prescription medications for things. What else? So I took it upon myself to go by his house to check on him. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, damn, I'm not hearing from him. I remember him talking about going to all these doctor visits and not feeling so well and all this kind of stuff. So I was like, as a friend, let me go over there and check up on him. I go to his house. I notice there's a bunch of mail in his mailbox. I notice that this is in the daytime, mind you. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to make a part 2 because the first video, it cut out. But you have to be very careful about the people. All right, so I'm going to record there's a part 3, so I'm gonna record in the same manner that I've done the part 2. I'm gonna do it this way as well. There's a reason why I'm doing it, but I don't want to give details. There's a reason why I'm doing it this way. So I'm gonna stop this recording, and then I will upload the part 3, and then that'll be the final of the series or whatever, of being lured out to Dallas. Thanks for watching.